Is it the bottom yet? Is it the bottom yet? I'm trying to buy everything. Eyes glued to the computer, looking for a bag or two. Eyes glued to the computer, looking for a bag or two. Is it the bottom yet? Eyes glued to the computer, looking for a bag or two. Bag or two, bag or two. I'm trying to buy everything. 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 Eyes glued to the computer, looking for a bag or two. Eyes glued to the computer, looking for a bag or two. Bag or two, bag or two. I'm trying to buy everything. I'm trying to buy everything. Eyes glued to the computer, looking for a bag or two. Bag or two, bag or two. I don't wanna be the type of guy that let fear win. I'm the one that dives in head first and bust my chin. Bust my chin, bust my chin. I don't wanna be the type of guy that let fear win. Bust my chin, bust my chin. I don't wanna be the type.
Yo, what's up, everybody? How we doing in the chats? What's up? Got all my people in here. It's good to be back. First stream in a while, man. So I owe this one to you guys, big time. Big time, but let me know you guys can hear me. Let me know the audio's good. And man, so here we are a month into this new quarter. And I mean, look at the chart, like this weekly chart I'm looking at right now. This is obviously like some concerning stuff. Got a big red dot here, some bear div. So I'm here to show you guys what I'm seeing. I'm here to answer questions. And it's good to be back, man. You never really know how things are going to go when you go live. But for some reason, it always goes good, man. I just start turning into a professional yapper. And it's awesome, man. So make sure you guys follow FloppingGroper on Twitter here. And here's how we're going to do a giveaway. I'm going to give away 3 annual memberships to my indicator plus my Discord in this stream. And all you got to do is go to my Twitter at FloppingGroper. I'll link it in the chat. Go to my alpha male performative AI slop video that I put out the other day and drop your best comment slash testimonial underneath this. I'm going to link it in the chat right now. But this is going to be my pinned post so that when people go on my Twitter, they get a little fun like visual there. And I want it pumped with likes. So if you do this for me, drop a nice comment on there. Then I'll choose 3 of the comments for giveaways at the end of the stream. So let me copy this link. There's the link to the tweet. Go to tweet. drop testimonial. Did I change your trading? Have I improved your trading? Has anything I've told you in the last 2 years helped you at all? If so, do me a little solid here, and I'll do a sick giveaway at the end of the stream. Sweet. Since I have all your guys' attention. And I won't take too long. The stream's probably not going to go longer than 45. It's no music. We're not just hanging out. I got some important info I want to show you guys, and I want it to be like as efficient as possible. So, and I know that like whenever you guys are not talking in the chats, that means we're like dialed in. Like I never take slowness in the chats as an insult, because it means people are listening. So appreciate you guys listening. Make sure you drop that comment on this tweet, link in the live comments. And man, let's get into just kind of overall what I'm seeing here on Bitcoin. So what I noticed is we entered a new quarter, see the Q3 VWAP guys, this yellow line. And first thing we did was we took a relevant high, this high right here. We took that all-time high. And this move that we saw basically wiped out all the bears. This was like a bear mass extinction event. And like a lot of people who were worried about the overall bull run at the start of the year, you know, it comes up to here and their idea gets stopped out, whether it was just their idea in their head or it was an actual short trade that they had back here at what they thought was the top. They get stopped out. And so naturally bulls, you know, become arrogant and are claiming victory up here. And yet from that day, it's only been pretty much like sideways / down, and things have only gotten more worrisome. And this is kind of, look at this doji, guys. Look at the weekly doji that just finished printing. So I'm doing this stream at this time because we just got that weekly candle close. Nobody's covering this as soon as me. So this is a worrisome close here. Like it's a doji, so it's not like a bearish candle, but it's an indecision candle. So it's like a cautionary candle on the weekly Heikin-Ashi here for Bitcoin. And we are seeing divergence. You see that the price has gone up higher here, but the waves are trending down with a red dot here. And so market Cipher B is given some evidence that if there's like a larger like bearish thesis, like it has a little bit of credibility. And I've mentioned this in my last video, but quarterly junctions are like major sweep and reverse junctions. Like I am not surprised at all. In fact, I was mentioning this in my last video that like we would take this high and then reverse, you know? So that's what we did. We took the high up here, and now so far we're going down, but we're still holding the resistance, still clinging to a sideways Q3 VWAP for now. But if overall, like if this thing comes up like this and starts trending down, that Q3 VWAP starts, like we really got to look at the slope of this Q3 VWAP over the course of the month, because it very easily could turn into some strong resistance now that the slope has been damaged like this. But it also could be reclaimed. So, you know, it's kind of in that kind of zone there where personally I'm not entering fresh shorts. Like just because I think that it could dump potentially to this previous Q2 VWAP, it's hard for me to do anything on high leverage because my entries would be like up here, you know, up here or up here or up here at these highs, you know, because you want to short from high and buy low. So I'm waiting for like Monday to come. Basically like this daily candle, like tonight I might see some nice trades, because you know things are looking grim on the big time frames. But if I pull up the weekly VWAPs, look at the weekly VWAP right here. Last week's VWAP is up here at basically that Q3 VWAP. So I have a feeling that this is going to keep going up like this, or we're going to dump here, tag a support, like right here would be a really nice long entry off of that just a little bit of structure right here, or even a sweep of the low. Like if you get lucky, you might get a long down here and then trade it back up to last week's VWAP. But somehow I doubt that it's going to go that far. I think if it does pull back, it's going to just kind of have a minor pullback and then go up there. So that's a move that I'm looking for tonight going into tomorrow morning, is for this to pull back and give me like an entry that I can actually feel good about. Because right now, just longing this up to the previous week to date VWAP seems a little risky. If you got in a long down here at this low, nice MC basic strategy, that was a nice play. But typically I like to wait for Mondays to consider trades. So I'm just waiting for a little minor pullback here, and I'll probably enter a long up to that previous week to date. So while I'm overall bearish, this is like the actual move that I'm considering right now. So that's important to take into account. And yeah, so while this, that bullish weekly leap could definitely bail out the fact that we're like under this Q3 VWAP. This looks terrible, being under this Q3 VWAP. But if we come up and we fill the weekly leap on Monday or Tuesday, then we're now over the Q3 VWAP. That being said, the slope is now sideways, so it's gonna take it's gonna require monitoring, and I'm rather bearish. It's like this is one of those dumps that is kind of a sign that the trend has like officially changed. And yes, you get like a little kind of like a bear market rally kind of move, or just like a spike upwards to like take liquidity, hit that previous week to date, and then you could go lower, guys. So I'm looking to take profits on any longs. I'm not like buying the dip and thinking that like it's just going to keep continuing. I'm definitely more on the side of reversal and being cautionary. And yeah, so what else could I show you guys? Ethereum had a nice little bounce on the Q3 VWAP here. So like the new month came and we went back to July's VWAP. So that was a quick like monthly leap that happened like right here. So if any of you guys caught that move, that was pretty sweet. But ETH finding a little bottom here on that Q3 VWAP. I love this bottom. Like, get a nice momentum candle hike in a sheet on that major VWAP. That was definitely the level to watch there. But same with Bitcoin. We've got this previous week to date VWAP resistance. So this is a level where I would look to take profits on any longs that I may get into on ETH in the next like 12 to 24 hours or so. I mean, it could shoot straight there, but I wouldn't enter a long unless it had a nice pullback, potentially down to like this level here, something like that. And then I would consider putting up a long. If I see 10-minute hike in Ashi at that level, you see strength. You put your stop behind that, you can put it behind the actual low, and your target is pretty good there. A nice little 3-to-1 back to that previous week to date. So that's a trade that I'm considering going into like the next 12 to 24 hours. But when I look at ETH BTC hit some pretty strong resistance, guys. Let me show you. Let's see here. So check it out, guys. This is little bit of a worrisome sign on ETH BTC. So we came out the gate of a new quarter, and look at this amazing trans-annual quarterly leap. That's what I like to call this. This is where a quarter opens up and we dump or pump back to last year's Q3. Like basically it's like the Q3 VWAP from last year. We go straight there. So this could be a strong resistance for ETH BTC, not gonna lie, at least for the time being. But this is like a reason why maybe ETH has been struggling, is like we hit this big resistance here on the ETH BTC chart. But if we overcome this, chop through this gulag, it would be nice to get a full year-to-date leapfrog. Like this year, like we pump up over this year's VWAP and then we go back to last year's VWAP. That would repair a lot of the damage to this pair if that did end up happening. But we're just slamming on some like medium-term resistance here on ETH BTC. Let's see. Let's look at the big monthly. Ooh, because one of you guys in the VIP was talking about the monthly market cipher waves. And we are seeing some pinching. Little bit of pinching here on this monthly wave. We're still being quite leading with it, guys, because this is not confirmed at all. It's going to take a month or two for this puppy to confirm. But technically there is a div here. If this becomes a red dot, then you've got quite a strong div where like the 3-headed wave is going down, but then the price keeps going up. So that is a pretty strong div on the monthly if this little clipping turns into something, but it's a little too late to say. And also, as long as we hold over this 60 line level, the 60 level on that monthly wave, we're still in like very high levels of market momentum. So like this is a gnarly wave. Like who knows if this has to do something like this. And there's like this divergent, weaker looking wave is like a whole new higher high. Like I'm considering something like that. You know what I'm saying? So this red dot, I'm not saying it's officially like the end of the bull run. It may not be, but it is definitely a warning sign to look out for like the next month or two, right? So you got the kind of a bearish monthly developing. The 2-week, we're looking at the 2-week here. Definitely evidence of clipping and VWAP oscillator running toward the 0 line. The 5-day, you've got a strong bear div there. And we went over the weekly, guys. We went over the fresh doji that just printed here on the weekly. And so this is kind of indecisive / bearish, you know, especially coming out of the heels of a brand new quarter. You sweep all the highs. There's no more bears left. Now, who do the market makers want to hunt? Who do they want to go after? It's the bulls. Like, the bears are dead and extinct. And it's the bulls who need to be hunted now. At least that's the way I'm seeing it in the charts. I could be wrong. And, you know, this channel isn't financial advice, but let me just historically go back to a couple previous examples. A lot of you guys, my OGs, you guys have seen this a million times. But anyone who's like coming in from Twitter or something, I want to show you something very, very interesting. So it has to do with the quarterly junctions. And, you know, we'll just go over this year first. And I'm going to keep going back in time. And I'm going to keep showing you how this concept has been helping me gauge the market direction for like the last 2 years, basically. Like this same simple rule. And that is that when we come out the gate of a new quarter, we tend to liquidate everybody, you know, in the wrong direction and continue the trend. Like it was like Q2 was bearish. And so Q3 opens and we're still bearish, right? And we take that relevant low. But this right here is the reversal, like the macro reversal. And once we get like this hard daily momentum candle over that new quarterly VWAP, it's only a matter of time before we pump back to the previous quarter's VWAP. So, you know, this move, even though I was like cautious through this pump, I wish I handled this pumpage here better because I considered that previous quarter's VWAP as resistance. You know, I take profits early in my VWAP trades because who knows if that previous period's VWAP is going to be some steep resistance or if it's doesn't matter at all. But you know, this sweep of the low out of the new quarter, this is the pattern I want you to keep watching with me because it happened this quarter. We swept the high and now we're dumping. So it may keep continuing. Doesn't have to, but look at the previous setup, guys. So Q4 going into Q1 of this year, we open up, and it's not until we sweep that high, see, boom, we tag that high, that we start reversing. See that shit? So it happened, boom, there, it happened there, and there. Now, if we go to the one before that, this is a tricky one because this is the junction that Trump's election was in. And so it wasn't as extreme. We didn't dump down all the way to this low here, right? We didn't tag that low. But we did tag a low. We tagged a very, very bullish low. This one right here. And once we tagged that, then we got that reversal back up there. So there was a sweep at the onset of the new quarter, and then we reversed. So I would say that played out pretty good there too. So it's like when a new quarter begins, you want to look for like that first major macro liquidity sweep, and you have a real shot of catching like not just a trade, but like the trade. And I don't want to blow smoke up your ass and say that like, if you join my VIP, we're going to be catching these crazy hero trades all the time, because in reality, it doesn't always end up perfectly. And like you have to take profits because that's what a good strategy entails and shit. But it does, these ideas do affect your bias in a positive way for long periods of time. So it's good to know like when one of these moves happens. So that was that time. And then we're going to go back to the one before that. So going from last year's Q2 into Q3, look, we open up here. You can see we take this relevant low right here. And then once we start getting that momentum over that new quarterly VWAP, look, boom, we shoot up and we shoot over the previous quarter's VWAP. So I'm showing you guys a pattern that literally happens every single quarter. Whether Bitcoin has a gigantic run or not, like look at this big Trump run, it still obeyed the rules. And so like the pumps happen in the middle of these moves. These moves, these junctions from quarter to quarter are like the reversal points, basically. And it just keeps going back, like the entire bull run. Like look at this junction. Like this was quite a bearish junction here because we only sweep this high right here. Look, we tag that high, not the major high. We tag the minor high. Then we start reversing all the way down back to the previous quarter's VWAP. So you could backtest this yourself with the anchored VWAP tool. You go over here and you star the anchored VWAP tool. My settings for the VWAP are that I disable the bands and I enable OHLC4. This takes the open, high, low, close, divides it by 4, and gives you a nice average there for the candles. So this pattern goes on and on for Bitcoin, and there's maybe like one time out of like 12 that it like doesn't happen. So that is a big reason why I look at these market cipher waves, and I see a lot of credibility in why someone would be like kind of like macro bearish for the next month or two off this. But just be mindful, guys, that like it takes time. Like the early bears are going to get wiped out. There's going to be this bullish leapfrog move around these weekly VWAPs, because last week's VWAP is far overhead and it's tugging on the price. It's pulling us up. So even though things may have gotten bearish, you want to look for high places to short from. So when it comes to like hopping into shorts, I'm hoping that we pump all the way up and sweep the high again for a bearish leap next week or something. That's the best scenario for me. So I'm hoping the market goes up, same as you guys. I feel like no matter whether you're a bull or a bear, you kind of want this to come up and tag that previous week to date VWAP. And if it does struggle with that, if it somehow doesn't get up there and it just starts nuking down, we know why. Because we entered a new quarter, and it's probably just going straight back to the previous quarter's VWAP like it does most quarters. So let me pull up the Q2 VWAP. So your Q2 VWAP on Bitcoin is down here at 103, about 104K. So since we have started a new quarter, we may want to tag that, or at least like float on top of it, get close to it, and then front run and like, you know, go bullish from there. But at that point, you pull the Q3 VWAP down substantially. The Q3 VWAP gets pulled into quite a downslope, right? And so let's say we come up, nuke down, and you come up again, man, that's a lot of like gulag action to fight your way out of. It would be very like easy for me to see us potentially going all the way down to like, you know, retracing deeper, maybe to like last year's Q3, just like how the ETH BTC chart did. This is like a really nice buy zone down. Like if we nuked below 90K again, that's kind of like farther than most people think it could dump. But and then also if it dumped there, people would think it would dump more. But that's like a very, very strong, likely summer bottom in my eyes. So I would say extend your horizons out a couple months and don't panic and play it however you want to play it. If you're someone who likes to short, there might be some good opportunities for you. And if you're bullish, I wouldn't like freak out either. So that's pretty much where I'm at with Bitcoin. So we are doing a giveaway. Let's check the comments here. Ooh. All right, we got some good engagement. Let me post this in the chats one more time. If you guys want a chance to win 1 year of my Leapfrog indicator and Discord, then go to that Twitter post, drop a testimonial if you've been watching my analysis and my analysis has helped you over the years. Drop a little comment. I'll pick a winner at the end of the stream. And yes. Let me just get a drink of water here and catch up on these comments. AI Griff is asking about Solana. He said the Seeker phone ships out tomorrow, and I ordered one. That's very cool, man. They got some good innovations. I'll look at the Solana chart here in a minute. AI Griff also said it could go back up. I'm definitely like kind of short-term bullish, assuming that we're going to kind of get tugged up toward that previous weekly VWAP there. Max Long said 4-hour bull divs, the bottom is already in. When we go to the 4-hour, there's a very strong evidence of a weekly bullish leapfrog. And if you're in the Discord, I'm like warning you guys of moves like this. FG Discord. I'm always going to call out a large gap between price and the weekly VWAP. So, you know, I never get like too bearish in my head, really. Like if we're far from, like if there's a nice like long setup, a big gap opportunity between like where we're at and last week's VWAP, I'm going to spot it because my Leapfrog indicator shows me that like that's a good opportunity. So, man, if I see what I want to see in the next like 12 hours, I might hop in along up to that resistance there. And this month was a pretty good month for the community. Like, so since I was bearish going into the quarter, I was really like hoping for that liquidation cascade to the upside. So like when we started pumping up, I was like bearish. I was like thinking this is the liquidity sweep before the major quarterly reversal. And by having that idea, like it made this month one of my best months because I guess I was like trading in the right direction because the leapfrogs, like the weekly leapfrogs were bearish. And so I just kept taking bearish weekly leapfrogs all month. And I actually had like a nice little winning streak this month. It was pretty sweet. So I'll put the setups in the Discord when I see them. And I share them with you guys. It's not like every day. I would say it's like once a week, maybe twice a week. I'll have a nice high confidence play for you guys. And I hit them on high leverage to prove that like my entries are solid. So I'm proud of the last month's like trading with you guys in the Discord. It's been good. Even though I've been hiding like a hermit from all you guys on YouTube and Twitter, the Discord's been pretty sweet. So thank you guys for helping me in there and like participating in that. But catching up on these comments. Crown Chakra, good to see you in, Maine. Make sure you guys follow Crown Chakra TV for all his dope Market Cipher music. Hunter X Hunter says, weekly leap into a rejection for the quarterly leap. That's precisely what I'm thinking too, man. We have to keep an open mind because if a weekly leap unfolds, our balls are kind of in the bull's hands there for a minute as we reclaim the month, like the new monthly VWAP, and we may even reclaim the quarterly VWAP for a little bit. But that pump over the quarterly VWAP has to sustain for the bulls to, like, for me to like feel like the bearishness has been invalidated. I think there's a high likelihood that any bullishness we see over the Q3 VWAP at this point could like easily get eaten up and shorted down. That's kind of how I'm feeling because we're at that critical quarterly junction. Cipher Rider says BTC wants to liquidate us first at 107, then 94. I could definitely see, I don't have much VWAP support actually until like all the way down here. I mean, we pumped up quite a ways. There is a lot of structure left here to tag, so I like to aim big with quarterly leaps, even though there's a chance I could be wrong. I get creative with these leaps because I've seen crazy moves. So I'm not afraid of making a birthday wish or a Christmas wish. On my Christmas list, I hope Bitcoin hits 100 or I hope it hits like 88K. But we'll see if I get my wish. Ooh, okay, so let's go over Fartcoin. So Fartcoin. Let's monitor what happened with the monthly VWAPs on Fartcoin. Let's see. So Fartcoin actually has a very large bullish leap. Look at this, guys. So Fartcoin opens up new month. We are very, very far from last month's VWAP here, but we also still haven't tagged the Q3 VWAP from last year. So, this would be sweeping this low here would be a really nice long opportunity on Fart, like very high confidence. I would just be waiting for like some 10-minute hike on Ashi to catch a bounce there. And that would be like a lucky long entry there. But I do see like a bullish potential on Fart. Like, look at this massive 30% potential monthly leapfrog on Fartcoin. This is an opportunity that will become more apparent if we were to reclaim. See this white monthly VWAP here? So we want this to go sideways, and we want price to like come over that and work its way up there, right? But I want to long from a low place. So I'm going to just like watch Fart. It's on my watch list right now. And if in the next 12 to 24 hours, it like nukes from this Q2 and goes like, and like dumps down there, I just need like a little 10-minute hike in Ashi, and I would place like a long position that kind of looks something like this. I would put my stop under the VWAPs there, and I would target that previous monthly VWAP there for like a short squeeze, basically. So, and it's nothing set in stone. I have to see the signs. I have to see the 10-minute hike in Ashi. I have to see the bounce. It's got to be real. I'm not sold on it yet, but that's the kind of move that I'm looking for. And someone mentioned Solana. Solana is at a nice little bottom here of its. Look at this Q2 VWAP that looks like it's settled down on here. So it's still sloped down. You got a slope down monthly VWAP. Might have a little, one more low here, and then boom, you could chop back up there for sure. But just be cautious of those larger bearish signs on Bitcoin. It's easy to ignore them until they start hitting, and then you see those weekly candles turn red, and things start getting bloody for like a longer period of time than you like were really prepared for. So I'm always going to come out and show you guys the signs, good or bad. I'm not a shill. I don't care if you guys buy or sell Bitcoin, or you just trade it or hold it or whatever you do. But yeah, man, it's my duty to come out here and talk about market Cipher, man. So Pro BTC asks a question: how much leverage would I use on these trades? So I would use quite high leverage, man. Like the type of trading I've been doing lately. For instance, I'll show you a Litecoin short that I took. So this was a weekly Leapfrog. Let me see if I can find it. Okay, so I put some anchored VWAPs on the weeklies, and let me see if this is... Yep, perfect. Okay. So this is a example, guys, of how I would tackle Sunday going into Monday, looking for a potential trade. I don't... Typically, I want to avoid weekend chop weird price action. And I want to wait till that Monday candle. Basically, from this point where we're at now, I'm talking to you now at a time where I might consider a trade usually. But typically, I like to wait as long as possible, like into the early morning hours. There's a good chance of the reversal happening there. But you can see that once the new weekly VWAP spawned here, my logic tells me to target this high right here for a short, right? And so you can see that on Litecoin, if I stuck true to my logic, I had two amazing, insane, like highly accurate shorts here on Litecoin, which I just showed you in the Discord like a few minutes ago. And when I zoom in a little bit here, we're going to kind of analyze this price action. The way I set these trades up and I share them with my VIP is I go to the 10-minute. And sometimes I enter sooner because like I'm a psychopath, but I wait for the 10-minute for you guys because I don't want to like give you guys a signal that immediately reverses. That would be terrible. So what I like to do is I like to wait for 10-minute Heiken Ashi, and I lay down a position for you guys that has like a high likelihood. So, and I will take profits on these too. Like at 2 to 1, I'm taking profits. I'm not like banking on this going all the way to my target all the time. But you can see that we get the sweep of the high after the new week starts. And so all I need is a 10-minute red momentum candle with no top wick. Boom, right there. See that wick right there? That's the wick. You don't enter on how you feel. You enter on the system, right? So this is my system, is I wait for this particular candle to print after this sweep right here. If you have ironclad balls and you're trying to flip a ham sandwich into $1,000, then sure, like try to snipe this, try to stink bid this top here. Sometimes it'll work out for you. But there's still a good trade here by waiting a little bit. Like if you enter on this candle here, you put your stop, you have to defend that high. You got to put your stop at that high. And you could potentially take this trade all the way down to the previous week's VWAP. And so, ooh, you know what I'm saying? Like that's a nice 7 to 1 trade there. Now, look what happens though, is we are actually clinging to this weekly VWAP, and look, we tag the highs again. And so if you didn't take any profits, this could have been a bad trade for you. But if you are in profits, and this is like accurate enough where you could take pretty high leverage in this trade. So you're at like at 2 to 1, you want to be taking profits, guys. Like when the trade gets to like this point right here, like a 2 to 1, that is an amazing time for you guys to lock in like at like half or something. And that's just good risk management. Sometimes you miss the big move, but you don't miss it with all your money. You only miss it with half, and you get to call it a win, like pretty much right out the gate. Now, I took this trade again because I remember Bitcoin like still looking dumpy at this time. So when we tagged this high, I set up another trade. I set up that 10-minute candle entry right there. Look, we tagged the high. And this trade was the one that played out. Look at this amazing trade. So 2 trades in a row on Litecoin, 2 7 to 1 risk reward trades. Both of them played out really good. And so that was this move. Let me show you guys that move, because he was asking me what my leverage is on these moves. And look, my leverage is really high. just to kind of demonstrate that like it's an accurate like reversal call. So and it's been fun trading on high leverage, not gonna lie. It reminds me of like trading ETH back in the day. But that right there is an example of a weekly Leapfrog trade. So now this week we're seeing the same thing, but in the reverse. Like this previous weekly VWAP is now overhead. And so that's the kind of like trade I'm looking at. It's a long trade actually, even though there's evidence that things could get bearish soon. Tony Collins wants me to look at XRP, man. Thanks for reminding me. So taking a look at XRP here, we just swept the all-time high. Get my VWAPs up here. Okay. Now there's a little bit of a daily trigger wave here on XRP here. So again, evidence of like maybe a bullish weekly leap. Let me pull up the weekly leaps and let's check them. Oh shit. You know, with this particular chart, look at this, guys. We ran up to that previous weekly during the weekend. So typically this is a chart I wouldn't touch for a trade because I'm looking for a large gap back to that previous weekly VWAP because that is like a confident take profit level for me. And if I don't have that as a take profit level, then I have to take profit some other way, perhaps just by like taking it out of straight 2-to-1 or like just something that's like random and not really like a part of my system. So this was a nice bottom you maybe could have caught during the weekend on XRP back up to that weekly VWAP there. And if you know that it wants to go up there ahead of time, you really can catch those moves. But I've just learned to like be patient and wait for Monday and catch. I'll look at these charts and I will find the chart that hasn't done its leap yet and I'll take that trade. Because entering trades during the weekend is risky because when that new weekly candle comes, there's a chance that everybody gets wiped out, including you, and then the real move happens for the next week. Patience pays. Yup. Nick Hill Ooh says, how is Breakout going? So I made an announcement in my VIP that Breakout, like I got tilted on Breakout. There was a 2-week span where I had a challenge. I was doing a challenge and like I had 2 amazing trades that would have been like huge ass trades, but I was like trading a challenge. So all that effort and like all those gains went to passing a test and I didn't make any of that. And that really like messed with my results for that particular month. I can't remember if it was like March or April. I think it was April or May. But it kind of tilted me a bit and it made me kind of just want to like go back to trading my own money. But that's also like on me because I trade breakout accounts pretty aggressively. So I was actually just thinking about starting up a new challenge like for this bullish weekly leapfrog. Like if I see a nice trade, I'll show you guys any progress I make on a breakout challenge on like Twitter and on Discord. So I did take a break from it and I'm glad I did because this past month was a really good month. But you're right. I need to get back on there and keep showing you guys how it's done. You know what I'm saying? And I'll look at Aave real quick for you, man. My breakout journey did go quite well. Like I caught a really nice trade on there with a funded account, made 20 grand back in March, and like that was like a really cool. I was able to demonstrate that it is possible to change your life with breakout. But passing tests, if you lose, trust me, if you lose a $15,000 profit to a challenge, I don't know if anyone wouldn't get tilted. That's kind of a tilting thing to happen. But Aave, man, has a nice bullish leap here. So try to get a better long entry, maybe at the month to date. You know, like just a little bit of a dip going into tomorrow morning. I would say buy it up and maybe potentially take a trade back up to that previous week to date VWAP. Yeah. And just note that overall these markets are potentially bearish. Things could get worse, but so personally I'm looking to, you know, short-term trades, no crazy crypto longs or nothing, just some humble weekly VWAP snipes. You know, then we rinse our blades and we wait for next week type shit. Type shit. I hate when people say that, and now I'm saying it too, man. Ace Supersonic wants me to look at XMR. This is another example, Monero, another example of a front run weekly leap. Look at that move. So having the foresight that as the new week begins, we might want to go back to the previous week's VWAP. This, like having that foresight helps you greatly no matter what time scale you're thinking of, whether it's weekly, monthly, quarterly, you know, imagining that that can happen helps you to not freak out. Like, we just dumped majorly here, and because of our system, we're like, oh, it's probably a good long, you know? So we don't panic, we don't freak out, we just trade the VWAPs. Pro BTC says, do you think it's worth me doing breakout with my 82 or just leverage trading my 82? It depends on what you want, man. It's like, if you have the guardrails, and when you crank up that high leverage, you know, you're using a small amount, not your entire freaking account, then go with the live account, bro. Because if you hit a big trade, at least it's not going into a test or a challenge, you know. But there's also nothing wrong with working on a challenge on the side. You know, don't try to be a hero with it. Just catch the really confident moves and like grow it over time. That's what I would do differently when I start breakout again. How about that? I'll say when I start breakout again, because I really have been thinking about getting a new challenge going. Jay Castro, I did mention Fartcoin before, bro. It's got a big weekly leap that has yet to happen yet. So while other coins have already gotten up there, Fartcoin could pull back here a little bit, and maybe at like this low here, right? That low there, or like this low here. 2 levels, depending on how things are looking. If there's a nice bullish like 10-minute Heikanashi, like let's say Fartcoin comes down like this, and let's say it comes to here, but oh shit, the red Heikanashi doesn't stop, and we just red Heikanashi all the way down here. But then next thing you know, you get a bullish 10-minute Heikanashi, and all of a sudden we're just like closing right here all of a sudden. You could take a long like that, defend the low, and put your stop up there, right? So that's how I would trade this. I don't just want to like blindly enter a long now, even if it does really go up there. Just because I've been burned too many times, man, long in the top. You gotta like long low and short high, and you have to hope things play out instead of just jumping in, flopping and groping whenever you feel like it. Multi-Sig says, check out my meme coin of the cycle, please. Dog coin. Let's look at dog coin real quick. Hold on. Dog USD. I am not that bullish on meme coins right now, guys. Perhaps for Q4, but as you guys know, like, I'm respecting a lot of bearish signals that I'm seeing on Bitcoin. So God, like, Lord knows what that means for alts and like giga shitcoins. To me, this seems like a large downtrend, and if anything, it's tagged last Q3's VWAP as resistance, and it's just like looking quite bearish right now. But if we were to break out of that VWAP gulag and find ourselves in this kind of position, you know, this long right here is a nice move. So I would say don't rush this shit. Like, it's probably gonna puke, and you might get an entry maybe closer to the low. Maybe not a sweep of the low, but it's like maybe a sweep of this low, this little low here. And I'll do one last chart request, and then we'll pick a winner of the giveaway, and I'll leave you guys with that. Let's check out Ton for this guy. So Ton Coin's kind of in a bit of a bear market here, struggling with the 2 yearly VWAPs. So this yearly VWAP and last year's yearly VWAP sloped down on Ton. It is working its way back up, though. This does kind of look like some bull divvy type stuff here. But I personally don't like the overall slope of these VWAPs. It definitely screams that this is a resistance level, and like you go down again, and this kind of has to, like, these VWAPs have to pull sideways, you know what I'm saying, to give the bulls a chance to fight their way out of that gulag. It's a very downsloped downtrend that Ton coin is in. When we look at smaller time frames, though, Let's see what it's done around its weekly VWAPs. Kind of it's not even really much of a good weekly VWAP opportunity here either, man, because look at the small gap between the new week to date and last week's. Like, for a giga shitcoin, that's really not that big of an opportunity, whereas Fartcoin is a 30% gap. So this is why people are trading Fartcoin instead of TON, because like the chart is just way better to trade. So that's it for the analysis, I think. I think we covered everything. Go ahead and watch the stream back again if you missed something. But let's check out these comments on the tweet. I hope you guys like that analysis. I hope you like the stream. Make sure you guys like the stream and subscribe. Hell yeah. You see, this guy passed his breakout challenge. Good shit, man. Hell yeah. One of the best in the cryptoverse. Always ready to teach, answer questions, and genuinely improve lives, finances, and trading performance of those fortunate enough to tune in. The knowledge. Absorb the knowledge. Consider yourself lucky if you're in this man's group. I love that, man. Dude, thank you. Thank you for all the TA and ideas, man. You're the master. Keep doing it big. Always thankful for your late night streams. The late night streams are coming back, guys. And I'm going to the gym again, like hardcore too. I have a personal trainer. So when I need to get a tan and like lose a little weight, and then I'll start showing my face again for you guys. VWAP strategy slapping, one of the best out there. Big ups. Let's go. You and your brother have changed my life. You helped a disabled man make a little more each month. Because disability money doesn't go far. Thank you for everything. Man, that's heart-touching, man. Thank you. FG has not only helped me as a trader with his videos, but also improved my life in other ways with the 100 push-ups. Man, you know, I'm so proud of us for doing that challenge, guys. And if there's ever a point in your life where the charts, you feel like the charts are winning and the charts are beating you, just remember that struggle we went through together and like go back to that point, because like that's the building phase. That's the type of drive and determination you need to like build that foundation for yourself back up again so you can stand on your own 2 feet as a trader, as a man. And you don't have to do it like I did. You don't have to do performative alpha male bullshit online. It's between you and God. It's between you and yourself, you know? So you have to love yourself to do well in these markets. So I'm glad you guys learned that lesson alongside me, man. I'm not above that lesson. I always have to remind myself again and again throughout the years to like, you know, to make that shit important in my life. But I would say my favorite comments, definitely this guy right here. I really like his comment. If any of you guys are like want to get under me on like the exchanges that I use and shit, or if you want to buy Market Cipher with my link or any of that, go to empoweredtraders.com. And this is a site that I'm eventually going to be pumping with free tutorials, free content, and like, you know, all these exchanges. I'll do a tutorial on them, but you could go like get under me on these exchanges or my Discord. You could get my Discord here. You could get Market Cipher, or you can get a breakout challenge with my code. And if you do any of these things, please DM me on Twitter or Instagram or wherever, and I'll set up a consultation with you so that you're not jumping into this shit totally blind. So we'll set up like a 30-minute to 1-hour call. I'll talk to you for free. And that way, if someone who's new is getting into this, then like you're not just left to the wolves when you come in. And I think that's like a good little deal. So if you use my links, I'll give you like free coaching or tutoring or whatever you want to call it. And the Discord is private, so you do have to like pay for that, except these 3 guys who are winning this challenge today. So that guy was the first winner. Second winner, Nick Hill. Are you in the Discord, bro? Are you in my VIP? I can't even remember. Reading these other ones here. I would say Mr. NC Grape Ape. You know, going through the struggles you've been through, man. I'm going to take your word for it. I'm not going to assume any lies or dishonesty. And I'm going to assume that you're a real person who's got some real struggles and that you've persevered and that you haven't let that stop you from becoming a trader. And so I respect that, man. So I think that you are a winner. That's who I want in my VIP. I want people who've I don't want people who've had an easy life and don't appreciate things. I want to get people in here who appreciate opportunity, whether it's their own life or what I do for people. No cheap bastards. No roaches. And Nicolou, you know, he's been one of my biggest followers / subscribers. Like, you're one of my homies, man, since like when I first started streaming. So let's get you in, man. Let's get you in for 1 year. See how you do. And hell yeah. That's the 3 winners, guys. So thanks for pumping this. Now when people go to my Twitter, they'll see all these nice testimonials, and that makes me look legit. So thank you guys. The last thing I want to show you guys is there's a merch store. So if you go to market Cipher.shop, I made a new store. It's got some nice, good quality Market Cipher shirts here. Just go to marketcipher.shop and it ships throughout the country or internationally. So you could order this from anywhere. Get a head start on winter season with your hoodies. So like Halloween's coming up. So make sure you get a hoodie for yourself and your son or your brother or whoever else you trade with. Pick up a couple shirts. And yeah, that's pretty much it for me, guys. So this was my Bitcoin quasi bearish update, but also we're catching that bullish weekly leap across cryptos, and we're kind of just cautious. Once that move fills, we're cautious from there. And I showed you guys how this could end up becoming something bigger based on previous quarterly junction examples. So watch the slope of this quarterly VWAP and also this new monthly VWAP. You know, this white line, the VWAP from August 1 on Bitcoin. The slope of that is greatly going to matter, as well as the this teal line. This is your quarterly VWAP here. So it's sideways for now, but if we chop around here and then lose this, then things turn quite bearish. The quarter becomes a bearish quarter from a volume weighted standpoint, and we don't want that to happen. So keep an eye on these signals. I love you guys. You guys have a good one.